Hello everybody, I'm Kyle. If this is your first time seeing me, I'm going to put the title and description and everything on this video in English. So if you are an English speaker and you're just interested in languages and that's why you clicked this video, stay tuned, because in the last 4 years, I have had exposure to a lot of language learning. I've helped a whole lot of people here on my channel. I've built relationships with a lot of these people. You know, I've lived my life in Spanish, and I've studied other languages as well. So that's what I'm going to get into today. That's what I want to say. If you are an English speaker and you just click this video because you're interested in hearing about languages, maybe you're trying to learn a language. If you are one of my loyal subscribers, this video is going to be in my natural, normal day-to-day English, okay? So we'll call this an advanced video for you guys. You could use it as a challenge to understand, to check your level of understanding and see how you're progressing, if you're moving past that intermediate level into advanced. So let me know in the comments, guys, my regular subscribers. Let me know if you understand me when I'm talking like this. Okay, so my journey with languages started about 4 years ago. I was around a lot of Mexican people and I wanted to be able to understand them, so I started learning Spanish. That's ancient history, okay? I used things like Duolingo, Babbel. I bought books about language learning. But guys, the thing is, that is nowhere near enough exposure to the language. You have to get inside that language and bathe in it, okay? You have to spend so much time with the language. It takes hours and hours and hours of exposure to a language to learn it, to understand it, to be able to speak it. Now, you know, I used those apps and books and stuff for a long time, and I was kind of spinning my wheels. That's a good expression. My English speakers will understand it, but for everybody else it means you're trying and trying and trying at something, but you are not making any progress. You have nothing to show for your efforts. So I was spinning my wheels. I was using these apps for 15-30 minutes a day. I was learning vocabulary, but still, when I heard somebody speaking Spanish, I was lost. Okay, couldn't understand anything, could not say anything other than hi, my name is, hello, you know, how are you, things, super simple things. One day on YouTube, I found a channel called Dreaming Spanish. This channel changed my life. So I really hope one day I could have a conversation with Pablo, who is the creator of Dreaming Spanish. He's a really cool guy. I've loved his videos, and I think I feel about him the way a lot of you guys feel about me. A lot of the people who've watched all my videos, you feel like you know me, right? Because I've let you guys into my life. I've told you my stories, my experiences. I've shared so much with you guys. We've got like 600 videos or something on the channel. So wow, what a long journey it's been. Anyway, I feel that way about Pablo because I watched hours and hours and hours of his content. So one day I'm gonna try and reach out to him and have a conversation with him. That would be super cool because he's my language learning mentor, even though he doesn't know it. But anyway, Pablo made videos, or makes videos, of comprehensible input, okay? They draw, they use their hands, they speak slowly and clearly in order to make it comprehensible to where you can understand. But the thing is, they speak completely in Spanish, okay? Now, I based my YouTube channel off of Pablo's model, okay? Comprehensible input. You know, I've put my own spin on things, and really my channel is nothing like Dreaming Spanish, but that was the base. That's where I started with this idea. And I really like to think that my videos have helped a lot of people with their English. So anyway, I dove deep into the comprehensible input. I'm going to get to my experiences with the other languages. I just want to tell you guys how I got into language learning in general. Well, I started watching Pablo's videos, and I would watch them 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours a day sometimes, depending on how much time I had. I just got obsessed, guys, with acquiring the language. And once I started making progress, it's a wonderful feeling, guys, to start to understand, to really start to hear somebody speaking and you understand it, guys. It's a superpower. It's a beautiful moment in your life. It was so cool, guys. So incredible. And I remember that feeling when I was able to start having conversations. I felt like a superhero. I really felt so good about myself, and I attributed that great feeling to the work that Pablo did on Dreaming Spanish. So I decided I wanted to give that feeling to other people. That's what I do here on the channel. So if you are an English speaker and you want to learn languages, guys, you have to dive in. You have to spend time with the language, okay? If it's Spanish you want to learn, guys, Dreaming Spanish on YouTube. But the cool thing is, now in almost every language I've been able to, well, you know, I haven't studied every language, but all the languages that I've tried learning myself, I've been able to find some form of comprehensible input on YouTube. So it's out there, guys. It's out there now. And I'm very proud that I'm contributing to the Spanish-speaking community with comprehensible input, and I think more people should do it because it's such a wonderful way to learn. And we should be teaching this in schools, guys. You know, people go through 4 years of high school, 4 years of Spanish classes. They get all the way up to advanced Spanish 17 or whatever. And guys, if they get around a group of Mexicans or Venezuelans or Colombians or Spaniards, and these people are talking like they normally talk, we'd be lost. And that's 4 years, guys, of 5 days a week Spanish classes, and these people cannot understand. But with Dreaming Spanish and really naturally acquiring a language, I'm not joking, guys, I was starting to have real conversations in 6 months. And then after a year, I could handle myself well in a conversation, to where Spanish speakers were telling me my Spanish is good. Okay? I'm telling you guys, that is the way to learn language. Now, there is value in things like Duolingo. A lot of people like Anki, which is vocabulary. And guys, these apps are great for learning vocabulary, and they should be used to complement your comprehensible input, in my opinion. Okay? My son's learning Spanish right now. That's what I've got him doing. He does Duolingo every day, so he starts to see a little bit of the written structure and he learns the vocabulary, and then he watches Dreaming Spanish too, so he's really acquiring it. iTalki is another wonderful resource to speak to native speakers. He does classes on there too when we can, but it's hard with his schedule with school. So anyway, that's my introduction to languages. I started with Spanish because I was around Spanish speakers and I wanted to be one of the group. You know, I wanted to be able to enjoy the parties. I went to a party, guys. It was 100 Mexicans. I swear there had to be at least 100. And me. And maybe a couple of them spoke English too, but most of them were just speaking Spanish. I was there with a beer like lost, okay? And they were super nice to me, but I could not enjoy the party. I was like, this is gonna be the last time that I'm around these people and don't understand. So I really started, I got obsessed, and now, guys, I could live my life in Spanish, which is a blessing, and it makes me very happy. Like I said, I've made awesome relationships, and so many wonderful things have happened because of my learning Spanish. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm trying to get the sun off my camera because sometimes it'll overheat. Okay, that might help a little bit. All right, let's dive into the individual languages. Spanish. Let me just show you guys a little bit of my Spanish. My subscribers hear me speak Spanish all the time, but if you, like I said, you're an English speaker, you might want to know what my level is. So, hola, me llamo Kyle. Bienvenidos a mi canal de YouTube, Pensando Inglés. Casi dije Dreaming Spanish porque he estado hablando de Dreaming Spanish. Pues un gustazo tenerles aquí y hacer este video. Alright, guys, that was just, hey, I'm Kyle, welcome to my channel. It's a huge pleasure to have you guys here. And I'm very comfortable in Spanish, guys. The thing is, I make tons of mistakes, okay? A lot of times I say things that are not correct, and that is okay. Wait one sec, guys. Gotta move my car. So, that's one thing that you learn in language learning. Mistakes happen. Guys, there's a quote I like. In order to one day be great at something, you have to be brave enough to be terrible at it, okay? That's more or less the quote. You have to be courageous enough to suck at something many times. When I first started training jiu-jitsu, Miguel Torres, an incredible MMA legend, he trained me in jiu-jitsu. He told me, you're gonna get tapped out 1,000 times. And then finally, you'll stop getting tapped out. And then after that, oh my gosh, guys, so loud. Helicopter. He told me after that, you will start to catch other people in submissions. And that's the same with learning languages or any skill, guys. You're going to be terrible at it at first. Maybe there's some people who are naturals at things and do very well at things quickly. But with something like learning a language, you have to be ready to make mistakes. And don't be scared, guys. You know, sometimes we're self-conscious. I feel like, oh, they're judging me. But if I'm speaking to a bunch of Spanish speakers, they are just thrilled that I tried, that I put in effort to learn their language and not just expect them to know mine. So guys, the only people, and I tell this to my subscribers, the only people who will ever judge you for making a mistake are people who only speak one language, okay? Anybody who has learned other languages will never make fun of you for making a mistake because they know what it's like. So guys, Spanish has opened a whole new world for me. It's caused me to make wonderful relationships. I'm married to a beautiful Colombian woman, and the first 6 months of our relationship was in Spanish. We pretty much only spoke Spanish. She was learning English, and I helped her a lot with that, but it was just comfortable to have our real deep conversations. So, you know, I fell in love with the woman of my dreams in Spanish. So this language will always have a huge place in my heart. And, you know, just learning a language in general, but mainly Spanish, because that's the experience that I'm talking about, and that was my real language learning experience, has made me a better person, more compassionate, more intelligent, because you literally are creating so many new connections in your brain. You're exposing yourself to so many different types of media and content that you can't help but to learn new things. So, you know, guys, I know so much about what's going on in South America. I know everybody hates Nicolás Maduro in Venezuela. I know that a lot of people love Javier Milei in Argentina, and a lot of people don't like him. I know that my favorite president in the world is Nayib Bukele of El Salvador. So guys, my world is so much bigger now that I speak Spanish. So much bigger. And the channel is a huge part of my life. I make videos 3 times a week at least. I'm trying to put out some extra content right now, but I love it. I love it, guys. I learn new things just to make videos. I've read books just to make videos about them. I love it so much. Absolutely love it. So some of the things that I've learned from learning Spanish, other than South American politics, is Latinos in general have a closeness that we don't have here in the United States, in my experience, okay? Their families are always hugging each other, kissing each other on the cheek. They're so close. They call each other, you know, mi amor, or my wife calls her brothers and sisters baby, but it's just a closeness that I never had growing up. And it's rubbing off on me, you know, my wife being in my life. Now whenever I see my friends, I give them a big hug. My wife used to say that I was so seco, which means dry, but she means it like a rock, like I didn't show my emotions. And being with her has definitely not made me a more emotional person, but helped me to show them, I think. Helped me to express these emotions and things like that. So it's definitely been an awesome experience, and I'm grateful for it. That's one of the great things that Spanish has done for me, and opened my eyes to a different way of living that I really enjoy. And you know, I didn't see it growing up, but I'm so happy that it's a part of my life now. Alright guys, I had to turn on my air conditioner because my camera was overheating. I hate when I record in my car. My camera's black, the sun's hitting it, it overheats so quick. Anyway, I hope it sounds okay. I hope it's not so loud, my car running, because this camera does have a good microphone. So that was Spanish. It helped my confidence so much to learn that language. And I was really kind of a shy person growing up, but once I had conversations with people from all over the world in Spanish, it really made it clear to me that if I could make jokes, make people laugh, build awesome relationships, have awesome conversations in my second language, my first language should be a piece of cake. So learning how to speak Spanish helped me become a much better speaker in English as well. And it definitely helps that on my YouTube channel, at least 3 times a week, I'm sitting here blah 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 speaking. So my language learning journey has made me a much better speaker. Like guys, I didn't write anything about this video. I just thinking out loud here, and that's a skill that I've learned from my work on my YouTube channel. But I think that just all of the conversations I've had, guys, on the app italki, where you could talk to native speakers, I saw the other day that I've had like 300 conversations with 90 different people from all over the world. Guys, that is so much culture, and you know, learning about different people, different places, and just hours and hours of practicing conversation. So I like to think that learning languages has made me a much better conversationalist as well. So I don't want to go on and on and on and on about Spanish. Let's talk about the other languages that I have learned or studied. The second language that I studied was French, and to be honest guys, I don't use it anymore. I could read a bit still, I could understand a bit if they speak slowly, but I don't have any French speakers in my life. So I'll say a little something in French. Je parle un petit peu de français, mais je sens que mon français maintenant c'est vraiment horrible, mais j'aime beaucoup la langue. C'est très belle. Oh pas. Je ne sais pas. So guys, that was just, you know, I don't speak French often, and right now I feel like my French is horrible, but I do think it's a beautiful language, and I am happy that I spent time learning it. So what did I learn with my adventures in the French language? Guys, it's weird because what I took away most from French was not anything about French people, okay? What blew me away about French is how many people all around the world that are not from France, that are not French, speak French. Okay guys, the place where the most French speakers in the world are is not France, Africa. So I spoke with people from Cameroon. That was the only African that I spoke with. You know, what you think of when you think of Africa. But what you don't think of, most people, when you think of Africa, is the Middle East. And that's people from Algeria, Tunisia. I had a wonderful teacher from Morocco. His name was Sofiane, and he was a really cool guy. And these are Arabs. Most of them were Muslims. And they speak French like somebody from France. And it's incredible. Learning French opened my eyes to that part of the world, and it showed me these people are multilingual people, okay? A lot of people in Morocco, they speak Arabic, standard Arabic. They have their own dialect of Arabic. A lot of them speak English, and the people from wealthier levels, because only the good schools teach you French, but a ton of people there speak French too. So it's super cool. These people grow up speaking 2, 3, 4 languages, and the way that they could switch back and forth with ease is beautiful, and it inspired me a lot. And you know, I really never grew up around Muslim people or people from that part of the world, and I had no idea that they spoke French over there. So it was just super cool experience. I learned a lot about that part of the world, and I'm gonna be very brutally honest here, guys. Growing up as a boy in the 90s, you know, people my age, when they think of the Middle East, they think of terrorism, and it's sad, and I'm not proud of it, and I always speak up and try to change that image because of my experiences. But we think of the terrorist attacks on 9/11, and that's what we think of. But what I learned speaking with these people, the ones that I've had the pleasure of speaking with, and later I had a very good friend. He doesn't speak French, but I met him here in jiu-jitsu, who is a Muslim. His family's from Lebanon. He's one of the best people I ever met. Shout out to Muhammad. But these people have been warm, welcoming, intelligent, kind, polite, okay? They have a beautifully rich culture of food. And guys, these are old, ancient cultures, okay? So much history. There's so much to learn when you speak with these people. And, you know, I thought a lot of these places are just war-torn, poor. You know, there's not, the people don't want to be there because it's poverty, you know, so bad. But the truth is, there's parts of the world that we think about like that. We think, oh, it's violence, it's terrorism, it's, you know, abusing women. Guys, there's parts of the Middle East that are safer than Chicago, that are cleaner than Chicago. The people are much, much more educated than in Chicago. So it really, I guess, opened my eyes to the fact that, you know, a lot of, when we were growing up in the 90s, people my age, you know, we were pushed into thinking American exceptionalism. Oh, America's the best. You know, everything good is here. But guys, learning languages has shown me that there's a lot of places in the world that are beautiful in their own way, and even in ways that you can measure, much safer. You know, the economy is doing better. There's a stronger middle class in a lot of places around the world right now, not necessarily the Middle East. I don't know a whole lot about economics of the Middle East, but it really opened my eyes and made me more compassionate. And you know, once you've had deep conversations about, you know, life, religion, love in a third language, your second and your first language are a piece of cake. Piece of cake. Facile. Vraiment facile. So that means super easy, by the way. But French was another eye-opening experience for me. But it also taught me a very important fact about language learning. If you want to get to a super high level of a language, and in French, I never achieved as high level in my Spanish, but I was able to have very nice conversations. So I would say my French level was getting close to a B2, maybe like a high B1. I could have got by, and if I could have made it in another country, you know, getting by really bad at first, but I bet after a month I would have been pretty good. That's about where my level was. It showed me that the biggest part of learning a language is having a reason, okay? Having a reason, a passion, something that really makes you want to learn that language. It could be trying to give a better life to your family, so you really want to study hard and do good for this job or this career. I've said many times, love is the best. Guys, meet a beautiful Colombian woman, or, you know, if you're into guys, you're a woman, or whatever you're into, meet a stud from France, a big hunk, and you'll be speaking a language really good, really quick. You gotta be passionate, guys. Find your reason why, and then find material that interests you and consume it. Consume it. Become obsessed with it. You know, people use the word obsession with negative connotations a lot, but you know, language learning, become obsessed with it, or take years to learn. You know, those are your options. You could mess around with Duolingo 20 minutes a day, but you won't be speaking in 5 years, okay? Or you get obsessed and you'll be having rich, deep, beautiful conversations in a year. Okay, so after that, after French, I have 2 more languages to talk about. One I only studied very, very briefly, and that's Arabic, okay? And my French led me to that because of speaking with Sofiane and other people from that part of the world. I thought it would be super cool to learn Arabic. And the only thing I could tell you guys right now is marhaban, ismi Kyle. So that's hello, my name is Kyle. I don't remember anything else from Arabic. And guys, what really maybe stopped me, or was a real wall to my learning, a real barrier to my learning of Arabic, is the writing system. Because to me, in my process, reading is so important. Reading is so important to learn a language. I have Spanish books all over the place. All over my house, guys, you'll find books in Spanish. And reading is a huge part of my process. So in order to learn Arabic the way that I like to learn languages, I would have first needed to learn the writing system, the alphabet. And it's pretty difficult. But not only is the writing difficult, but I have no Arab speaking friends except for one, and you know, I haven't seen him in a long time. So I really wish that they used the Germanic alphabet, like, you know, all the Romance languages in English. Then I probably would have went a lot deeper. So I only took like 2 classes or 3 classes of Arabic. It was pretty cool though, because I did one with Sofiane, and he was teaching me Arabic through French. So he was speaking French about Arabic, and that was really cool. But anyway, I think I was just trying to be a polyglot, you know, because on YouTube you see everybody who speaks 20 languages and you want to be like that. But the truth is, guys, you know, if learning languages is your hobby and it makes you feel fulfilled, that's great. But don't ever try and learn a language just to impress somebody else. Learn one that's going to be useful for you, one that can help you to enjoy your life more, one that can be your key into a different part of the world, you know, or new experiences. But Arabic was not that for me. There's no realistic situation where right now, in this point of my life, I'm going to use Arabic. So, you know, it was very interesting to get into it a little bit, learn a little bit about how the writing system works and, you know, things like that, but I didn't have a good enough reason. So that is why, you know, if my wife was from Lebanon or, you know, something like that, I probably would be able to speak some good Arabic right now. And the last language that I studied, I thought about Chinese as well, but that's the same thing, same deal with the Arabic. You gotta learn the writing system, and I don't know any people enough to make it worthwhile to spend thousands of hours learning something. So the other language that I studied for 1 month, okay? And at the end of that month, I was able to have a conversation. And the language is Portuguese. I had a super cool conversation with an italki teacher from Brazil. The reason I was able to learn Portuguese in a month is because I was consuming tons of content, tons of input. I found a really cool comprehensible input channel for Brazilian Portuguese. But the thing is, I am fluent in Spanish and I know a ton of words in French. If you speak more than one Romance language, the rest come very quickly because they share a ton of vocabulary. They share a ton of grammatical structures. And when I say Romance language, for those of you guys who haven't heard that term before, I mean Spanish, Italian, French, Portuguese, and I believe Romanian is in that class as well. And also things like Catalan would be included, but that is almost like a dialect. It sounds like they're speaking Spanish, but you just can't understand them. So Portuguese was really cool, and I guess what I would take away from that is that the more you learn, the more languages you learn, the easier it gets. And being able to have a conversation after 1 month just showed me that I know how to learn a language. And it's like anything else, guys. You know, a lot of entrepreneurs say the first million feels like, you know, the hardest thing you'll ever do. But it's not the making the money that's actually the hard part. It's the educating yourself, the learning. Once you know how to do it, your second million is guaranteed. I've heard a lot of people say that. It's the same with language learning, guys. If you've learned a second language, I promise you could learn a third, if you have a good enough reason and you really want to learn it. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I really just wanted to share some of my experiences because, you know, language learning is awesome, and every now and then I'll run into somebody in my day-to-day life who wants to learn, and I could share all these things I've learned over these 4 years. But oftentimes, you know, people here in the Midwest of the United States are not concerned with learning languages. You know, they speak just English and they're happy with that. So that's up to them. That's their life. My life, I love learning languages. I love making these videos and helping others. And I thoroughly enjoyed sharing with you my experiences. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If this is your first time on the channel, please check out one of my other 600 something videos. Appreciate your time. See you guys later.